So yesterday we have completed chart of accounts. Now, today the topic is account groups. All the general ledger accounts of the organization are classified into different groups for the easy and convenient management of GL accounts. So they are called account groups. Here, every company or every organization will use hundreds and thousands of ledger accounts. For the purpose of managing them conveniently, based on some common parameters, we group those GL accounts. They are called account groups. For example, there are some GL accounts relating to your manufacturing activities. They are created as one account group. There are some GL accounts relating to your administration activities. They are created as one account group. Then there are some GL accounts relating to your staff expenses. They are created as one account group. Like that, based on some common parameters, we group the GL accounts. They are called account groups or GL account groups. Then the individual ledger accounts are created under the respective account groups. Yesterday, I told you one point. In SAP, every GL account is identified with a number. In SAP, every GL account is identified with a number. So from where that number for GL account is taken? That number is taken from account groups. For every account group, we create and link the number range. Number range means here in SAP, we use the ranges very much. Range means from value and to value. Number range means from number and to number. So for every account group, we create and assign a number range. At the time of creating the GL account master record, we select one number from the account group and that number is given to GL account master record. Here, we can create any number of account groups. There is no any predefined principle that always these are the GL account groups. You can't say like that. But how do we decide how many number of GL account groups you have to create? Maximum, we can create any number of account groups, but minimum, there should be 2 account groups. So how do we decide how many number of account groups you have to create? There is no any stipulated principle. Always, we have to look into the balance sheet and the P&L account display requirements. In your balance sheet and P&L account, how you have to classify your GL accounts? Based on that only, we create that many number of account groups. It is the best principle, nothing else. So, technically speaking, we can create any number of account groups, but minimum, there should be 2 GL account groups. Number 1, balance sheet accounts group. Number 2, profit and loss accounts group. So, balance sheet accounts group means all the GL accounts which are displayed in the balance sheet is created as one account group. That is the similarity. What is the similarity? Displayed in the balance sheet. So all the GL accounts which are displayed in the balance sheet are created as one account group. Similarly, profit and loss accounts. All the GL accounts which are displayed in the P&L account are created as one account group. Now, if you take balance sheet, you have the 2 sides, liability side and asset side, right? So all the GL accounts which are displayed on the liability side of the balance sheet are created as one account group. Then all the GL accounts which are displayed on the asset side of the balance sheet are created as one account group. Then coming to P&L account. In the P&L account, we have expenditure side and income side. Then all the GL accounts which are displayed on the expenditure side of the P&L account are created as one account group. Then all the GL accounts which are displayed on the income side of the P&L account are created as one account group. Otherwise, suppose if you take liability side, under the liability side, right, we have to classify your GL accounts like share capital, reserves and surplus assets, etc. Right? So in that case, share capital can be created as one account group. Here I'm using the wording can be. So all the GL accounts, when you create the share capital as one account group, all the GL accounts relating to share capital are created under the share capital account group. That means, what are the GL accounts relating to share capital? Equity share capital, preference share capital, subscribed share capital, paid up share capital, issued share capital, right? Calls in arrears, calls in advance. Like that, all the GL accounts which are related to your share capital are created under the share capital account group. Then reserves and surpluses. When you create reserves and surpluses as one account group, then we create all the GL accounts relating to your reserves like general reserve, capital reserve, dividend equalization reserve, sinking fund reserve. So all the reserve related GL accounts are created under this account group. Then accumulated depreciation. So when you create accumulated depreciation as one account group, then accumulated depreciation on plant and machinery, accumulated depreciation on buildings, accumulated depreciation on vehicles. Like that, accumulated depreciation related GL accounts are created under this account group. Then secured loans, all the debenture accounts and the loans which are secured by the assets of the company, like term loans, are created under the secured loans account group. Then unsecured loans, loans from directors, loans from friends. Like that, all the loans which are not secured by any assets of the company are created under the unsecured loans. Then current liabilities and provisions. Current liabilities and provisions. So when you create current liabilities and provisions as one account group, then we create all the GL accounts relating to your current liabilities under this account group, like total payables account, expenses payable account, incomes received in advance account, then reserve of bad and doubtful debts. Like that, all the GL accounts related to current liabilities are created under this account group. Like that, the individual ledger accounts are created under the respective account groups. Then coming to asset side. If you look at the asset side of the balance sheet, we classify your GL accounts under the heading fixed assets. Then we can create fixed assets as one account group. Then land account, buildings account, plant and machinery, vehicles, all the fixed assets related GL accounts are created under this account group. Then current assets, loans, advances, inventory of raw material, inventory of finished goods, sundry debtors or total receivables, prepaid expenses, incomes receivables. Like that, all the GL accounts relating to your current assets are created under this account group. Then expenditure side, raw material consumption, personal cost, expense related to your staff, like salaries, contribution to PF, contribution to ESI, contribution to social security insurance. Like that, all the accounts relating to your personnel are created under this account group. Then manufacturing costs, administration costs, interest, depreciation. Then coming to income side, sales, other incomes, increase or decrease of stocks. Like that, we can create any number of account groups. Here, there is no concept of subgroup and main group. There is no concept of subgroup and main group. We create account groups, that's it. That means, in our example, we can create only 2 account groups, like what? Balance sheet accounts and profit and loss accounts. Otherwise, we can create 4 account groups, like liabilities, assets, expenditure, and incomes. 2 account groups or 4 account groups. Or we can create the headings which are in this blue color as one account, as account groups. There is no concept of main groups and subgroups. Just to make you understand, right? I have started from highest level and dig it down to lowest level. So here in our training class, we are going to create these as account groups, right? Then we can add the GL account groups during the fiscal year if the need arises. So for example, at the time of implementation, we have created 15 account groups. For example, after 2-3 years, there is a need to add some more account groups. In that case, it's quite possible. At any point of time or in any fiscal year, we can add the account groups. Okay. We can delete the GL account groups provided no accounts are created in that group. We can delete the GL account group provided no accounts are created in that account group. Now, the following are the functions of the GL account groups from the interview point of view. From the GL account groups, they may ask you one question. What are the functions of the account groups? That is only the question which you are expected to face from the GL account groups in the interviews. Number one, to control the number to be allotted to the general ledger master record created under the respective group. So at this point of time, you may not be able to understand these two functions. This function, first function, I will explain you at the beginning of the general ledger accounting. Then the second function I will explain you at the end of the general ledger accounting. But for the time being, just remember them as it is. To control the number to be allotted to the general ledger master record created under the respective group. Then to control the display of fields to be maintained in the general ledger master records created under the respective group. That is, whether every field is required or optional or displayed or suppressed. The second function I will explain you at the end of the general ledger accounting. You have the separate topic on the second function. At that time, I will explain. For the time being, just read them and remember. Now we will see how to maintain the account groups. So path is same as above. Same as above means as in the case of previous step. So what is the previous step? Creation of chart of accounts, right? So SPRO. SPRO, financial accounting new, general ledger accounting new, master data, GL accounts, preparations, edit chart, define account groups. Click on new entries. This is the new entries button, right? So in the material, in the first column, right? In the first column, chart of accounts, you write your chart of accounts. In every row, right? In every line, you write the chart of accounts for all the account groups. SSPN, 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 so on. You fill up the first column with SSPN. I hope you have written, right? Now, chart of accounts is equal to SSPN. Then account group. For every account group, you have to give one name. That can be anything. It is alphanumeric, but it contains up to 4 characters. Just like that, I am using SCPL. Name is share capital. So here I am going to create all these as account groups. And these account group names are not standard, right? You can use anything. From account is 100,000 to 100,099. From account is 1 lakh to 1 lakh 99 or 100,000 to 100,099. Look at the scheme. This is called number range. From value to value. This is called range or number range. Okay. Now, here, why I have taken 100,000 from the account or from account? Why I have taken 100,000? Because yesterday you defined length of GL account number 6 digits, right? If you go to chart of accounts. Yesterday we have defined chart of accounts, right? So in the chart of accounts, you defined that length of GL account number 6 digits, means you can use up to 6 digits. So you can start from 1 to 500 also, right? But here I started from 100,000 because for the purpose of uniformity. So every GL account, my requirement is every GL account should contain 6 digits for the purpose of uniformity only. So what is the lowest number containing 6 digits? 100,000 or 1 lakh. That's why I started from 100,000, nothing else. If you want, you can start from 1 also, no issues. Because the maximum length 6 we have defined, right? Maximum means up to. Then to account, I have given 100,099 because there is a need to create 100 ledger accounts under the share capital group. There is a need to create 100 ledger accounts under the share capital group. So 100 ledger accounts means 100 numbers should be there. So I have taken 100,099. Suppose there is a need to create 500 ledger accounts under the share capital group, then we take 100,599. Sorry. Yes, 599 or 600 or 700, like whatever the range you want to maintain. The range is depending upon the number of GL accounts you have to create under the share capital. But how do you know how many number of GL accounts you have created under the share capital group in the client company? The accounts department of the client company will give you all this information, right? Suppose, as of now, they are using 100 GL accounts relative to share capital. Then we add some other buffer, like 50 numbers. So that will be your to number 150. So based on the requirement, you can add your account groups. You can define your from number and to number. Clear for everybody? Then chart of accounts, SSPL. Account group is equal to RSPL. Reserves and surpluses. Reserves and surpluses. Yes, we can increase or decrease. From account is 100, 100 to 100, 199. Chart of accounts, SSPN. Account group, ACDN. So here I'm creating these as account groups. So in your practice also, you create these only as account groups, right? So for the time being, you follow the material as it is, right? After getting some clarity regarding the subject, then you can do your own experiments. At this point of time, don't do your own experiments. You unnecessarily gets very much confused. After completing some classes, and once you get some clarity regarding the subject, then you can do whatever experiments you want. ACDN, accumulated depreciation. From account is 100, 200 to 100, 299. So everywhere I am maintaining a range of 100 in our training class, nothing else. Then chart of accounts, SSPN, SCLN, secure loans. From account 100, 300 to 100 399. Chart of accounts SSPN UNSL unsecured loans. From account is 100 400 to 100 499. Chart of accounts SSPN CLPR current liabilities and provisions. From account 100 500 to 100 599. Chart of accounts SSPN FAST fixed assets. Now you have moved to assets of the balance sheet. Fixed assets. Now I am starting from 200,000 or 2 lakhs to 200,099. Why I have started from 200,000 for fixed assets? Here, share capital, reserves and surpluses, accumulated depreciation, secured loans, unsecured loans, current liabilities and provisions. All these account groups are related to your liability side of the balance sheet, right? And we have started with the one. So from the user point of view, right? If the GL account number starts with 1, they can easily understand that that is related to your liabilities. Even though you don't have any accounting knowledge, right? If you notice that the GL account number starts with 1, it's a liability account. Then if the GL account starts with number 2, then it's a asset account. From the user point of view, convenient. From the user convenience point of view, right? We can use the different series. Then chart of accounts SSPN CAST current assets loans advances. From account is 200 100 to 200 199. Chart of accounts SSPN sale. Now you have moved to income side of P&L account, right? So I'm starting with 300,000. So any GL account which starts with digit 3 or any GL account which starts with the number 3 is a revenue account. To $300,099. Chart of accounts SSPN OTHR other incomes. From account 300 100 to 300 199. Chart of accounts SSPN INCR increase or decrease of stocks. From account 300 200 to 300 299. Chart of accounts SSPN, then RMCN raw material consumption. So we have moved to expenditure side of P&L account. From account 400,000 to 400,099. Chart of accounts SSPN PRSN personal cost. From account 400 100 to 400 199. Chart of accounts SSPN MFRG manufacturing cost. From account 400 200 to 400 299. Chart of accounts SSPN then ADN administration cost. From account 400 300 to 400 399. Chart of accounts SSPN INTR interest. From account 400 400 to 400 499. Then you can scroll down. Chart of accounts SSPN DEPR depreciation. From account 400 500 to 400 599. Click on save. Click on enter. See, we have created 17 account groups. Now, here I have to clarify some points. For the liabilities, right, we have used series 1. For the assets, series 2. For the incomes, series 3. For the expenses, series 4 we have used. Again, this is not standard. For example, your client wants to start with the 500,000. For liabilities, starts with 5. For revenues, starts with 6. For expenses, starts with 7. For assets, starts with 8. That is quite possible. So these number ranges are normally decided in consultation with your client department, accounts department. So there isn't any standard regarding this number ranges. That is one point we have to understand. One more thing is very important point. Nowhere you have given your company code. While creating these account groups, you did not enter any company code. Then how these account groups are related to your company code? See, for every account group, we have given the chart of accounts. Yesterday, we have assigned chart of accounts to company code, right? See. Assign company code to chart of accounts. Company code SSPN, right? So for the company code SSPN, right? Chart of accounts SSPN was assigned. So for each account group, you have given the chart of accounts, right? So all these account groups are related to our company code. Till now clear? Yesterday, one more thing I told you. When several company codes are assigned to, when several company codes are assigned with one chart of accounts. I told you, no, one chart of accounts can be assigned to multiple company codes. See. See, a chart of accounts can be used by one or several company codes. In that case, the GL account number, account name, and account group, etc., will be same in all the company codes. For example, right, we have assigned the same chart of accounts to SSPP, then SSPT. So we have assigned the same chart of accounts SSPN to 3 company codes, SSPN, SSPP, SSPT. In that case, the same account groups will be applicable, these 2 company code also. No? That is the logic behind this. By assigning the chart of accounts to company code, the account groups are related to your company code. Clear? That is one very important point we have to understand. Then, one more thing. See, for the share capital, right, we have given the number in interval 1 lakh to 1,99,000, right? Or 100,000 to 100,099. After that, for the reserves and surpluses, you started from 100 to 199. Now, what happened is, just a minute. My voice is clear, no? My voice is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, thank you. So, we have given 100,000 to 100,099 as number range for share capital. Then for reserves and surpluses, right, you have defined, you started from 100,000, 100,000 to, 100 to 199. Then what happens is, within 6 months, we have created all ledger accounts, 100 ledger accounts under the share capital group. But still, there is a need to create some more account groups. There is a need to create some more account groups, right? In that case, what to do? Number range is totally exhausted, but still there is a need to create some more GL account groups, some more GL accounts. Without numbers, we cannot create the GL account, right? but number range is exhausted. That's why what we do in the real time normally is, for example, share capital, right? 100,000 to 100,000 we have used, right? Then for the resources surpluses, we can start from 100,000, 1,000 to suppose if this number range is exhausted, you can extend the number from 1,99,000 to 1,01,000. Any number we can extend up to this buffer. So for every account group in the real time also, we can keep some buffer. Getting my point? Suppose, for example, sometimes, right, you can create the account groups also like this. Suppose you are creating only 4 account groups. Like liabilities, assets, incomes, then expenditure. If you create only 4 account groups, it's very easy. We can use 1 lakh to 1,99,999. Then for assets, 200,000 or 2 lakhs to 2,99,999. Then there is no question of exhausting of the buffer. There is no question of exhausting of the numbers. Incomes 3 lakhs to then expenditure 400,000 to 4 lakhs 99. Then there is no question of exhausting the buffer. Sorry. So based on the requirement, we can define the number in inputs. This is the concept of account groups. So for our training purpose, right, we have created these account groups with these numbers, right? Now today I will tell you one technique. Just a minute. Okay. Now, every time when you need to enter SPRO transaction code, in this command area, we are entering SPRO. Then again, we are clicking on SAP reference IMG. So instead of assigning the instead of entering the transaction code every time, right? You can add the path for transaction code in the favorites. Right? So how to add the transaction codes or paths in the favorite, right? Go back to notes, please. We can add the frequently used transaction codes. We can add the frequently used transaction codes or paths. In the favorites. For example, we use the SPRO transaction code very frequently. So we can add this path in the favorites. we can add this path in the favorites. First, execute the path. First, execute the path for SPRO screen. Like write down the path. SAP Easy Access. You have to write the path now. SAP Easy Access. Tools. Tools. Customizing. IMG. Execute project. IMG execute project. Next paragraph. Keep the cursor on execute project. Keep the cursor on execute project. Go to menu favorites. Add. Go to menu favorites, add. See, look at the screen. Under the favorites, this is added. So from now onwards, whenever you need to enter SPRO here, instead of entering the SPRO there, you can double click on this folder. So simple. Continue. We can also add the new folders. We can also add the new folders in the SAP Easy Access screen. We can also add the new folders in the SPRO transfer. In the SP, we can add the new folders in the SAP Easy Access screen. For that, go to menu favorites, insert folder. Go to menu favorites, insert folder. Folder name is equal to GL transactions. Folder name is equal to GL transactions. I am creating one folder with the name GL transactions. Click on enter. See, GL transactions are there. Now, again, continue. To add the transaction code in the GL transactions, for example, F-02. For example, F-02. Execute the path for F-02. Execute the path for F-02. Like, write down, accounting, financial accounting, general ledger, document entry, accounting, financial accounting, general ledger, document entry, general posting, F-02. F-02. Right on. Continue. Next line. Keep the cursor on F-02. Go to menu favorites. Insert transaction. Sorry. Go to menu favorites. Add. Go to menu favorites. Add. See, F-02 is added in the GL transactions. Then Suppose, for example, I want to add this transaction code also. Just keep the cursor on F-65, go to menu favorites, add. See, under the GL transactions folder, these two transactions are added. Then, so you can add the frequently used transaction codes, right, on the screen directly or in the folder, right? See. Just a minute. Here. So instead of entering F-02, you can directly double click on this F-02. You will be taken to this. Like the different techniques we follow, right? So to start the next topic, right? Today, the time is not enough, right? That's why I'm stopping with this account groups, but still a little bit more time is there, no? So I told you this technique. Now, again, now I want to delete this transaction code, right, from the folder. In that case, keep the cursor on F-02, go to menu favorites, delete. So I am deleting all the transactions. Go to menu favorite, delete. Then again, go to menu favorite, delete. Now I want to delete folder, GL transactions folder also. Go to menu favorites, delete. Keep the cursor on GL transactions. Right? So tomorrow we start retained earnings account. So what is this retained earnings account? We will discuss in Monday class. Monday, Indian day. USA day, Sunday. Any questions from anybody? Yeah, Pawan.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, sir. I just have a doubt. Here we know the T codes. That's why we are just going to that particular folder and adding those T codes. What if we don't know like what to be done just in case customer clearing or something? I don't know the T code. How like where to refer it? What T code to be used?
Talking as an end user, right?
Sorry? Yeah.
You are talking
no,
about
I mean,
as an end user, right?
end user or just as an
Yeah.
consultant also. How we can identify what T code to be used?
Yeah. See, for the consultant, right? If you don't know the transaction code, right, there is no way. From the path only, you have to follow. But in the case of end user, right, normally what happens, based on the roles of the end users, right, we give the access to the respective transaction codes. For example, AP, accounts payable accountant is there. So always he will post the purchase invoices, right? And he will post the payments, both full payments and part payments, right? In that case, for that AP accountant, we give the access of the screens F-43 and F-53. That's it. So how do we control this access? It is not the job of the functional consultant. It is the job of the basis consultant. So the basis consultant only will give the authorization to access of particular screens based on their roles and responsibilities of the end users. So most of the cases, every end user will be having access to only 4 or 5 transaction codes. In that case, they can easily remember. Okay. In the screen, if you want to see the transaction codes beside the path, right? See, for example, now you cannot see the transaction codes here. So if you want to see the transaction codes for each transaction, the SAP Easy Access I'm talking, not consultant, SPRO screen. SAP Easy Access screen. In the SAP Easy Access screen, if you want to see the transaction code, right, beside the activity, what you have to do is go to menu, extras, right? Then settings. There you select display technical names. Transaction codes means technical names only, right? So display technical names and enter. Now you can see the transaction codes. This is possible only in the case of end user transactions. Okay. Suppose, for example, sorry, I'm forgetting, right? I will send you the accounting material today along with the recording. One more thing. I have to create company code, right? I have to create company code. Okay. I don't know the path. I don't know transaction code. What to do? Here, company code is IMG activity, right? Creation of company code is IMG activity. So go to IMG screen. Then you click on this find button. That is called find button, right? Then search it around. Company code. Company code. You just type company code. If you know the name of the activity, define company code, right? Then you can enter define company code. You can define the search. So you know, you don't know anything, you know company code, that's it, right? You just enter company code here, then click on it. Then the system will display the activities where the company code wording is available, okay? Otherwise, you can directly enter define company code. Okay, click on enter. See, define company code is there in many activities. See, general settings. Okay, you need some more knowledge in order to do this. For example, define company. Okay, define company. You don't know the transaction code or path for define company. In that case, you just click on search button or find button. Then you enter define company. Click on it. See, define company is used in many modules. So here in the financial accounting, define company is there, no? Then you select this define company, then click on enter. The system will lodge you in the path. Enterprise structure, definition, financial accounting, define company. Suppose if you want to see the path for company code, then you have to enter this wording, edit, copy, delete, check company. Following? So this is another way. If you don't know the transaction code and if you don't know the path, right? But you should know the exact name of the activity. So in this way also we can find it. In the case of consultants, if you know the path, we can find the transaction code. In the case of end users, if you know the transaction code, you can know the path. That we discuss later. Any questions from anybody?
Good morning, everyone.
Deepak.
Sir, for journal entry purpose, liabilities are considered under which account, sir?
Which one?
Liabilities.
Liabilities.
Yes, sir.
No. Liabilities, which account? Not like that. Which accounts are coming under liabilities?
Yes, sir.
That should be the question. Right?
Yes, sir.
Share capital, resources, for example, equity share capital, preference share capital, general reserve, dividend equalization reserve, then term loans, sundry creditors, all these accounts are coming under liabilities.
No, sir. Like we use assets as a real account. No, sir. For journal entry purposes.
Okay. You are talking about like that, huh?
Yes, sir.
Right? That we discuss at the time of posting the GL transactions. What is real accounts, nominal accounts, right? Personal accounts, and what is to be debited and credited according to real accounts and nominal accounts. I will send you one video on that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
That's purely accounting. So on that, I will send you one video. That video runs for 1 hour. There I explain what is real accounts, nominal accounts, and personal accounts. What is to be debited, credited according to personal accounts, real accounts, and nominal accounts. We have discussed it there, right? I will send you that video.
Okay.
So liabilities will be coming under real accounts normally.
Real account. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, then see you on Monday, Indian day, right? Sunday, USA day. Same time, same link.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Good day and good night and happy weekend all.